The impossible detection. The edge of known space, Sentinel Station Omega. Commander Thale Voss had been stationed at the edge of known space for 12 years, and in all that time, nothing interesting had ever happened. The Altarian commander stood 7 feet tall with blue-tinted skin and silver eyes that reflected the soft glow of the monitoring station's displays. Sentinel Station Omega was the Federation's most remote outpost, positioned at the very boundary between explored space and the vast unknown regions beyond. The station itself was a marvel of engineering, a massive ring-shaped structure that rotated slowly to provide artificial gravity. Its primary purpose was to watch for threats from the unexplored regions beyond the galactic rim. Though most Federation officials considered it a glorified early warning system for pirates and smugglers, nothing dangerous had ever come from the deep void, and most people preferred it that way. Commander Voss was reviewing routine supply reports when Lieutenant Zex Morden's crystalline voice cut through the bridge's quiet hum. The crystalline species communicated through harmonic frequencies that resonated through their translucent bodies, creating sounds that were both beautiful and efficient. Commander, I'm detecting an anomalous signature at the edge of our sensor range. It appears to be a ship, but the readings are unlike anything in our database. Voss set down his report and moved to the sensor station where Morden's faceted form was bent over the displays. The crystalline officer's body pulsed with soft blue light as he concentrated, a sign of deep focus among his people. "Show me what you have, Lieutenant." The main display filled with sensor data that made Voss's eyes widen. The object was definitely artificial, roughly 2 kilometers in length, but its energy signature was completely foreign. More disturbing was its speed. "Lieutenant, confirm these velocity readings. This can't be correct." Morden's form flickered through several colors as he double-checked his instruments. "Confirmed, sir. The object is traveling at approximately 97% of light speed without any detectable propulsion signature. No warp field, no quantum tunneling, no exotic matter displacement. It's moving through normal space at near-light velocity, which should be impossible for any ship that size." Voss felt a familiar chill run down his spine. In his 12 years at this remote posting, he had learned to trust his instincts, and right now every instinct was screaming that something was very wrong. "Dr. Solace to the bridge immediately," he ordered through the station's communication system. Dr. Kira Solace arrived within minutes, her long brown hair tied back in the practical style favored by researchers who spent more time in laboratories than social gatherings. She was one of only 3 humans on the station, part of a small research team studying ancient artifacts found in the Outer Rim territories. Humans were a relatively new member species of the Federation, having joined only 75 years ago after first contact with a Altarian exploration vessel. "Commander, you called for me." Dr. Solace's voice carried the slight accent of someone who had grown up on one of the human colony worlds rather than Earth itself. "Doctor, you're our expert on unusual technologies and ancient civilizations. I need you to look at something." Voss gestured to the main display. "We've detected a ship moving through space at impossible speeds with no recognizable propulsion system." Dr. Solace studied the data for several moments, her dark eyes reflecting the glow of the displays. "This is remarkable. The energy patterns don't match anything in the Federation database, but there's something familiar about the structural design. May I access the detailed scans?" "Of course. Lieutenant Morden, give the doctor full access to all sensor data." As Dr. Solace worked, her fingers dancing across the control interface, Voss noticed her expression growing more puzzled and then increasingly excited. "Commander, I need to run this through some historical databases. The design elements I'm seeing here match theoretical blueprints from old human archives, but that's impossible. These are designs that were never built, theoretical concepts from over 300 years ago." Before Voss could respond, Lieutenant Morden's harmonic voice filled the bridge with urgent tones. "Commander, the object is changing course. It's heading directly for our position, and slowing down." "Battle stations," Voss ordered automatically, then immediately reconsidered. "Cancel that. If this ship wanted to harm us, it could have done so already. Instead, it's approaching peacefully. Open a communication channel on all standard frequencies. The bridge fell silent as they waited. The mysterious ship continued its approach, slowing from near light speed to a more manageable velocity with precision that demonstrated incredible technological capability. Then the communication system crackled to life, and a voice spoke in a language none of them recognized. The words were melodic but alien, completely unfamiliar to the Federation's linguistic databases. But as they listened, something extraordinary happened. The alien words began to change, shifting and morphing until they became clear Federation standard. Greetings, unknown station. This is the Earth vessel Persistence, seeking guidance home after a long journey. We have been traveling for many cycles, and our navigation systems indicate we may have drifted far from familiar space. Can you provide assistance? The bridge erupted in confusion. Earth vessel. Dr. Solace stepped forward, her face pale with shock. Commander, permission to respond. Voss nodded, still trying to process what they had heard. Persistence. This is Dr. Kira Solace aboard Federation Sentinel Station Omega. You identify yourself as an Earth vessel, but our records show no ships of that name or design. What is your point of origin and mission? There was a long pause before the response came, and when it did, the voice carried a note of confusion that matched their own. Dr. Solace, we departed from Earth approximately 300 years ago as part of the Wanderer Fleet expedition. Our mission was to explore beyond the galactic rim and establish a new colony world for humanity. We have been in extended cryogenic sleep during our return journey. Are we speaking with a human research station? Dr. Solace looked at Commander Voss with wide eyes. Commander, there are no records of any Wanderer fleet in our historical databases, and 300 years ago, humans barely had chemical rockets, much less interstellar capability. Voss activated the communication system himself. Persistence. This is Commander Thale Voss of the Galactic Federation. I need to ask you some questions for verification purposes. What year did you depart Earth, and what was the state of human civilization at that time? Another pause, longer this time. Commander Voss, we departed Earth in the year 2387 by the old calendar. At that time, humanity had established colonies on over 200 worlds, had developed faster than light travel, and was a founding member of the Galactic Federation. Dr. Solace, as a human researcher, surely you can confirm this history. The bridge fell silent. Dr. Solace was staring at the communication panel as if it had just spoken in tongues. Commander, she whispered, according to our historical records, in 2387, humans had not yet achieved faster than light travel. We were still confined to our home system. The Galactic Federation wasn't founded until 2451, and humans didn't join until 2508. This ship is claiming a version of history that never happened. Lieutenant Morden's crystalline form pulsed with agitated colors. Commander, I'm detecting additional energy signatures approaching from multiple vectors. There are more ships coming, all with similar designs to the Persistence. On the main display, new contacts began appearing. One ship became 5, then 10, then 20. Each one was massive, sleek, and moving with the same impossible speed and precision as the first. The communication system activated again, but this time the voice was different, older, and more authoritative. Federation Station. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Wanderer Fleet flagship Endurance. We have been monitoring your communications with our scout ship. I believe there has been some kind of temporal or dimensional displacement. We need to speak with your commanding officer immediately. The information we carry is critical to the survival of every species in this galaxy. Commander Voss realized that his quiet posting at the edge of known space had just become the most important location in the galaxy. The revelation. Captain Elena Vasquez materialized on the transporter pad of Sentinel Station Omega in a shimmer of light that made Commander Voss step back in amazement. The Federation had transporter technology, but it was bulky, power-intensive, and required massive machinery. The device the humans had used appeared to be no larger than a small backpack. The woman who stepped off the pad was tall and lean, with graying black hair and eyes that seemed to carry the weight of centuries. She wore a uniform unlike anything in the Federation database, dark blue with silver trim and insignia that suggested military rank. Behind her materialized two other figures, both clearly human but with subtle differences that spoke of long adaptation to environments far from Earth. "Commander Voss," Captain Vasquez said, extending her hand in the ancient human gesture of greeting. "Thank you for allowing us aboard your station. I wish I could say this was a pleasant reunion, but I'm afraid the circumstances are more dire than you can imagine." Dr. Solis stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her shock. "Captain Vasquez, I'm Dr. Kira Solis. I specialize in ancient technologies and lost civilizations. Your ship's design and capabilities suggest technological advancement far beyond current human achievement. How is this possible?" Captain Vasquez studied Dr. Solis with sad eyes. "Dr. Solis, what do you know about the history of human space exploration? Specifically, what happened to Earth in the late 24th century? According to our records, Earth experienced a series of ecological disasters in the 2380s. The planet became largely uninhabitable, and the surviving human population was evacuated to colony worlds. The evacuation was chaotic. Many historical records were lost, and human civilization had to rebuild from scattered fragments." "That's the official story," Captain Vasquez said quietly. "The truth is more complex. Dr. Solis, may I ask where you were born?" "New Geneva, one of the Outer Rim colonies." "And your parents?" "Also colony-born." "Commander, I'm not sure I understand the relevance of these questions." Captain Vasquez turned to Commander Voss. "Commander, with your permission, I'd like to access your historical databases. There are some things I need to verify." Voss nodded to Lieutenant Morton, who provided the captain with a data interface. As Vasquez worked, her expression grew increasingly troubled. "Dr. Solis, according to these records, human civilization reached its peak population of 12 billion people in 2387, then suffered a catastrophic collapse due to ecological disaster. The survivors were evacuated to 17 colony worlds, where they struggled to maintain technological civilization. Within 50 years, human population had dropped to less than 2 billion, scattered across dozens of worlds with limited industrial capacity." "That matches our historical understanding," Dr. Solis confirmed. "Now let me tell you what really happened." Captain Vasquez activated a holographic projector that materialized detailed star charts and technical schematics in the air above them. In 2387, humanity didn't suffer ecological collapse. We discovered something in the deep space beyond the galactic rim. Our long-range sensors detected an approaching threat of unprecedented scale, something that consumes entire galaxies. The holographic display showed images that made Commander Voss's blood run cold. Vast, dark structures moving through space, leaving nothing but empty void in their wake. "We called it the Devourer," Captain Vasquez continued. "Our scientists calculated that it would reach the Milky Way in approximately 600 years. Humanity faced a choice: flee or fight. We chose a third option. We chose to prepare." Dr. Solis leaned forward, her scientific mind racing to process the implications. "Captain, you're suggesting that the ecological disasters, the evacuation, the collapse of human civilization, all of it was deliberately orchestrated." "Not orchestrated, Dr. Solis. Sacrificed. Humanity made the hardest decision in our species' history. We abandoned our homeworld, scattered our population, and deliberately reduced our technological footprint to appear weak and insignificant. But that was only the visible part of the plan." The holographic display changed to show the Wanderer fleet ships in detail. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, incorporating technologies that seemed impossible even by current Federation standards. The Wanderer fleet was humanity's secret weapon. While our official civilization appeared to collapse, Our best scientists, engineers, and military personnel were secretly assembled into exploration fleets. We were sent beyond the galactic rim not to establish colonies, but to find weapons, allies, and knowledge that could defeat the Devourer. Lieutenant Morden's crystalline form pulsed with rapid color changes, indicating extreme agitation. Captain, you're claiming that human civilization deliberately made itself appear primitive while maintaining advanced technology in secret. That would require coordination and planning on an unprecedented scale. Lieutenant, you're beginning to understand the scope of what humanity undertook. For 300 years, we have maintained the illusion of being a minor, struggling species while our hidden fleets explored the deep void. We've made contact with extinct civilizations, recovered ancient technologies, and learned secrets about the nature of the universe that the Federation doesn't even suspect. Commander Voss felt the weight of this revelation settling on his shoulders. Captain, if what you're saying is true, then every interaction the Federation has had with humanity has been based on deception. Not deception, Commander. Protection. The Federation species aren't ready for the truth about what's coming. Most civilizations would panic, collapse, or flee. Humanity chose to bear this burden alone, to appear weak while becoming strong enough to protect everyone. Dr. Solis's voice was barely a whisper. The scattered colonies, the limited technology, the struggle to maintain civilization. It was all an act. Not entirely, Dr. Solis. The sacrifices were real. Billions of humans have lived and died in those struggling colonies, never knowing the true reason for their hardship. Only a select few in each generation have been told the truth and recruited into the hidden networks. The rest have lived authentic lives as colonists, miners, and farmers, unknowingly providing the perfect cover for our operations. The communication system suddenly activated, and Lieutenant Morden's voice took on urgent harmonics. Commander, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the sector. Dozens of ships are decloaking, all of human design. The main display lit up with contacts. Ships materialized from apparently empty space all around Sentinel Station Omega. Each one was different in design, but all showed the same impossible technological sophistication as the Wanderer fleet vessels. Captain Vasquez smiled for the first time since her arrival. Commander, I'd like you to meet the rest of humanity's hidden fleet. We've been guarding the Federation's borders for centuries, invisible guardians watching from the shadows. But our time in hiding is over. Why now? Commander Voss asked. What's changed? Captain Vasquez's expression grew grim. Because our long-range sensors have detected the first signs of the Devourer's approach. The 600-year countdown that began when we first discovered the threat is nearly over. The entity that consumes galaxies will arrive in this sector within the next 50 years. She turned to address all of them, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had spent centuries preparing for this moment. The Age of Secrets is ending, Commander. Humanity's long masquerade is over. It's time for the galaxy to learn the truth about what's coming and what we've been doing to prepare for it. Because if we're going to survive what's approaching, every species in the Federation will need to work together using technologies and strategies that humanity has spent 3 centuries developing. Dr. Solis stared at the display showing hundreds of hidden human ships. Captain, how many of you are there? How extensive is this hidden civilization? Dr. Solis, what you're seeing here is just one small part of humanity's true reach. We have bases in dark nebulae, research stations in parallel dimensions, and fleets exploring regions of space that don't appear on any Federation map. The struggling colonies that the Federation knows about represent perhaps 5% of humanity's actual population and capability. Commander Voss realized that everything he thought he knew about the galaxy had just changed forever. The humans weren't a minor species struggling to survive. They were the hidden guardians of galactic civilization, and they had been protecting everyone while appearing weak and insignificant. Captain, he said slowly, what do you need from us? First, we need you to contact Federation Command and request an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Second, we need you to prepare them for the biggest revelation in galactic history. And third, she paused, looking out at the stars, we need you to help us convince every species in the galaxy to trust the people they thought they knew, but who have actually been lying to them for 300 years. The fate of the galaxy now rested on whether the Federation could accept that their weakest members were actually their strongest protectors, and whether they could unite in time to face a threat that had already consumed countless other galaxies across the universe.